Well, the story with the knee is like 98 to 99% legit,
All right, I love it.
at this point. How long have we been working together?
Uh, well, a couple months.
It's about just about 2 months, right?
Yeah, 2 months.
And so, I want the members to know that I have a left my left knee has been an issue for many, many years.
Hmm.
It was I actually know exactly the time I injured it doing a special ops selection course. Um, I took a really big jump trying to beat time, and as soon as I landed, my I knew my knee was never going to be the same.
I get it. I know what you feel.
From that point on. Needless to say, I still got selected and I made it through the course, without issue. But um, that knee for decades has always shown its face here and there. And, before I reached out to John, I had a retrace. And this time it was different. And I really felt like this was part of my healing journey because a lot of times when we are going through healing and we feel things come up, oftentimes there are things that you felt before, right? And you're like, why is this pain back? Or why is this symptom back? And if you don't properly go deep and heal things in the right way, then you might get a patch. The body might patch it, okay? But it hasn't fully rebuilt that matrix of tissue or bone or tendon or whatever, or fully, adapted to that pathway that may have been opened or closed because it may have just compensated in a different way because it didn't have all the tools, all the time, all the rest, all the nutrients and whatnot to actually provide true healing. And so what was interesting was I had this retracement and I had no reason for it. There was no reason for this retrace. I hadn't tweaked my knee. I hadn't stepped wrong. I hadn't done anything. I was just about to walk out the house to go for my morning walk. And I went, huh, what the hell is that? Interesting. Okay. I went on my walk and it kind of came and went on my walk, you know. And then over the course of a couple of weeks, I was like, well, this is some bullshit.
Hmm.
This is some bullshit, and we need to get this right. And I said, this has got to be a retracement, right? Because I was seeing some other things in my body retrace, right? And
Yep.
so I was like, okay, I've got this little patch of fungus popping up on my leg. I'm dealing with now this knee thing's coming, same leg, same leg. And so I said, let me call my guy, man. Let me call Mr. Freeborn and talk to him about what the hell I got going on and what his advice would be, you know? And
Yep.
so long story short, we locked horns. We immediately got into the program and John taught me how to walk.
Yeah.
Bottom freaking line. I have been walking like an idiot my whole life. And when I was a kid, I had to wear the special shoes for like 2 to 3 years of my life when I was like somewhere between 4 and 6, I believe, if I remember correctly. And I hated them damn shoes, right? And I think they were correcting something that didn't need to be corrected
Probably.
based on me and John's discovery.
Yeah.
Okay. So my knees ended up being knotted, not kneed, but my feet flaring out. And going to the military didn't make it any better because they had me marching, right? And you're standing like this, feet out all the time. And so you kind of become a duck walker, right? And so if you're a duck walker, feet out when you walk, you're probably in pain if you're my age or older. And that's not the way humans are supposed to walk. Okay. And so this was a great learning experience for me because you can't see yourself, guys. This is why getting an assessment from John is so freaking important, right? Not just on your pain, but he can assess why you can't shit, why you're getting headaches all the time, why you have heartburn, and it doesn't make any sense for you to have heartburn because your posture is so critical to your overall development as a human being. It's big, guys. It's not a little thing. Okay? He can get to you like, oh, my eyes are this, and I get these things going on in my cranium, or I'm always popping my neck. That's when I first got hooked up with John many years ago. I was like, dude, I gotta stop. I saw a Facebook thing. He said, he's like, if you're popping your neck all the time, we need to talk. And I was like, we need to talk. Because I was a chronic neck cracker, man. Um, and I'm so happy he taught me the F&P, the Freeborn Neck Protocol, and got me on the floor. And so I still hit the floor to this day to keep from cracking my neck. And I'm not perfect. Sometimes I get out of habit, and then I'm starting to, and as soon as I do that a couple of times, I go, you know better than that. It's time to hit the floor. And so I get down and I start getting back into the rhythm of things to fix myself. Fix yourself, heal thyself, right?
Mhm.
That's not just through eating and exercise, that is through understanding proper body tensegrity,
Yeah,
right?
baby.
That's the deal. What did you really notice about me, John, when we started working together in
Well,
my assessment?
yeah, there's just these things that a lot of people are doing, and you were part and parcel for many of those things. It's like almost at an epidemic level where people are doing the duck-footed positioning. Their ankle goes into a pronation, so that inside ankle tends to drop down. And now we sort of drop into this. The knees will chase into that valgus position that causes a chain reaction at the hips, at the low back, at the rib cage, at the neck, all the way up and through. But really the best way to get to the feet is through the neck and
Mm,
going after that ligamentum nuchae in the neck, because when we're able to activate this massive ligament and we get this thing doing its job, now we have a puncher's chance to get into all five kinetic chains.
hmm
And so when we get that wherewithal of understanding how to get into that ligament, how to reconstruct the performance throughout the neck and the shoulders, but immediately it is helping us work on that biotensegrity, so that tensional integrity, where it's the children's rhyme, right? We've got the foot bone connected to the ankle bone, connected to the shin bone, connected to the knee
hmm
bone. And so everything's intertwined. And when people get armed up with a little bit of understanding of, well, how should they be positioning their feet? How should their gait pattern have this articulation? How this, how that, and really being taught in real time doing the stuff.
Doing the stuff is really the deal, right? Because
Yeah.
like I'll go do my exercises from recording, and it's not the same as being in session with you because here's the reality. You don't know how to move your body. You think you do, but you don't. John is a master at learning how to, he can see every tendon, every muscle fiber, all the connected things from how you twist your hand and your fingers and what that does to the elbow and the shoulders and up to everything, right? We don't think that way. And it's okay because you're not a professional. And he is, and I trust him because his knowledge on all those things come really true to you in, like you said, real time. When you think you're doing one thing, but you're really not, because he's looking right at you. He's like, I know you probably think you're that, but you're not. Keep going, right? Go deeper, lean down. Like that's what a real practitioner coach is supposed to do for you. And I so appreciate that feedback because you want to freaking get it right. How many times do you go to freaking chiropractors and, massage therapists and functional movement specialists and all the things, and you're still not quite getting it done because you're coming back and coming back and coming back. And let me tell you, man, that knee pain, that I tested my knees, how I really figured out I had something bad going on was I was on my back and I was kind of in the dying cockroach, and I was just breathing. I had just done some ab exercises or something, and I was just bouncing my legs back and forth, letting my knee flexion kind of do its thing. And this right one was nice and bouncy, boom, boom, boom. And that left one was going boom, 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 boom. Not, it wasn't popping, it wasn't going down. And it was also going pain, 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 right? And I went, that's not right.
Mhm.
That's not good. Like, does this legit hurt? And I tried to pull on it. And I'm like, oh yeah, that legit hurts. That legit is feedback. The body is trying to tell me something, and I need to pay attention. I need to listen. I need not to be a dumb ranger. I need to go ahead and take decisive action with a professional. Okay? Listen, guys, your bodies are going through so much on your wellness journeys. You're going to retrace all kinds of things. You've been out of balance nutrient wise, you've been inflamed for decades. Okay? And we're balancing all those things, and things are trying to come back online. Your posture wants to move, your bones and your hips want to get realigned, your organs are shrinking. Okay? Tissues rebuilding. There's quite a lot going on during your wellness journey that you can't see or comprehend, and things will manifest along the way that you're going to find aren't that comfortable. Okay? So when you've done all the things and you've seen all the docs and the pain is still there and they're trying to give you shots, and I don't recommend getting shots, okay? I did that for years on this shoulder right here. All right? Not even years. I did that for 2 rounds. And this was before I got into the wellness world. It was right before I really started digging into the wellness world. And check it out. They gave I have probably the top, I know the top. At one point she was the #1 pain management doctor in the United States. Okay? She's a personal friend of mine up in Northern Virginia, DC area. Okay? And so Dr. Marina Protopappas put that shot in my arm at my house because I had the hookup. So she came over, she shot me in my shoulder, and I was like, oh my God, it feels so good. Right? 6 months later, hey, my shoulder feels like shit again. What, can you come hook me up? She goes, yeah, we'll be over anyway. We're doing dinner downtown. So let's meet downtown and blah 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 blah. So we do dinner. For dessert, I get a shot. Boom. Feels great. 2 months later, I didn't call her. I said, this shit is not right. And so at that time was the same time that we happened to be pregnant for the first time. And so my wife was going to a chiropractor to get herself adjusted every now and then from carrying this baby to get relief, right? And so at that particular time, I so I went in and I met with Dr. David. And he goes, yeah, man, I think I can get you right. I can help you get that squared away. And so he did, we did a few therapies. And at the same time, I dramatically changed my diet. And I went paleo, which means I went pretty much anti-inflammatory diet is what happened. And in a month, I could hit a punching bag with snap and force. And I actually walked back into the office after my third adjustment, going for my fourth. And I was like, put your hands up, doc. And then he goes, what? I said, put your hands up. And I went, wow. And I popped him right in the hands. He goes, what the hell? And I go, your work plus my work equals healing. And that's the same thing, but better with John, right? Here's why it's better with John. Guess what retraced after we started working on the knee? That freaking shoulder. Right? So I've been doing the exercises that John has taught me, some really cool poses to really get all that biotensegrity working from the lower lats all the way up through the upper back, through the shoulder. I mean, feeling it down in my right buttocks and the whole nine thing. And you're tying all these pieces of your body together. And it's just absolutely beautiful because I promise you, you've never moved this way in your life. You've never truly felt all of that connective tissue. And that's what John brings to the forefront. He's working your fascia, he's working your tendons, he's getting your joints right, he's getting the muscles to move and to squeeze and to contract, and he's forcing you, he's making you, it's freaking work, man. Okay? But it's good work because you're fixing yourself. You're realigning yourself. And that's what makes John's work so powerful is he's teaching you how to get out of trouble and stay out of trouble. And it's the same thing that I do with you guys. I'm teaching you about your body, about nutrition, about detoxification, all those things that it takes to run the human body to get you out of danger and to show you how to manage yourself for life. So the investment with John to me is a great investment because it's not a one and done, I have to see you for the rest of my life kind of thing, right? It's a he's teaching you, he's coaching you, he's making you see things you can't see, helping you feel things you've probably never felt before, right? And I, the very first session and every session that I have, he teaches me how to move my body in a new way to create new stimulus. And it feels like on those days, I don't do my lunchtime lifting. I don't need to. I have lifted my ass off with John, with my own body. I have created enough parasympathetic, sympathetic stress in that session, and my body wants to rest. Like after I'm done with John, I really want to go to sleep, to be honest. I'm like, I could go to bed right now after that because you do the work, but it's kind of therapeutic at the same time. So it's very weird in that sense. And so your body's like, yeah, man, let's just lay down and relax. Like, and so for the rest of the day, like I'm fighting to hold myself up a little bit because I just feel all nice and gooey and loose and nice and relaxed. And my thinking is so sharp, um, and fluid, throughout the day. So it's just one of those things that if you're not into biotensegrity yet, you need to get some of this action. At a minimum, you need to learn the Freeborn Neck Protocol. At a minimum, okay? I advise every one of you to go do the F&P because it's going to change your life. I mean, it will change your life. You're going to piss some chiropractors off if you got them. I'll tell you that right now. Okay? My chiropractor hasn't seen me at all. Okay? And I don't need a chiropractor. I don't need to be adjusted. Okay? I can do it myself. I can be responsible for myself. And remember, that's the biggest part about what we do here. You're in a virtual wellness clinic. This is about home care, self care. John, home care, self care. Okay? That's what it's about. You need to operate your own machinery. You're the master of this domain. So go learn how to do it. Stop playing around. Go get a session with John, lock it down. You're going to thank me later. I promise you. Even if you don't think you have anything going on, go set a session with John. I guarantee you do. I guarantee you do. I bet he starts taking a look at your body, turn left, turn right, bend over, reach up, move this, move that, and you're going to go, oh, ah. Why? Because you've been hiding it. You've been running from that pain for decades, and you know it, and you forgot. You forgot the body's been compensating and compensating and compensating. The physical compensation in the bones and ligaments and fascia is no different than the compensation in your cells, no different than the compensation in your digestive tract and in your other organs that have been compensating for your misnomers all these years. You know, how cells are using heavy metals instead of minerals because they haven't been there. You haven't had any minerals to use, so it's using these bastardized parts, right? We talk about those kind of things here. It all flows in the same symbiotic relationship. And so for years I tried to separate this physical piece from this internal piece, and it's no separation at all, right? It's so dynamically intertwined. And so I want you to know that. Just think about this, for example. Let's talk detoxification. Okay, John?
Mhm.
How many, and I got to talk about this. So, how many clients have you worked with that they start moving with you and they get a cold or a flu?
Can happen. I mean, we stir the pot and things can happen. And then it's like, okay, well, let's work on our lymphatic drainage right now, right? So we want to see the body is constantly telling us what we need to do, right?
Oh, yeah.
It's a a circular sort of process, right? But we start in where you were talking about Freeborn Neck Protocol from a somatic movement standard, we start typically on the back, right? We teach people how to lie down, like you were talking about learning how to walk again. That was down the road. Um, we need to first learn how to lie down on our back and to get this experience of understanding what is our spine doing when we're in this completely decompressed position on the back. And things happen, right? The body starts giving feedback. And so, but keep going with your line of thought. And by the way, you're
Well,
awesome, man. You're on top of this stuff. And that's the thing. It's discipline. It's 1% stronger a day. It's staying the course and realizing that change is not linear. We have these gives and takes throughout. So we want to be able to not blink if we feel like we've just hit a dead end, because you didn't hit a dead end. You got feedback that
yeah,
was so valuable.
it is absolutely incredible value, being deep in this practitionership and working on my body for so many years. Um, I got that cold flu response, right? And that's why I brought it up, because I had to figure out, like, what is this really? So we had just finished a session. It was probably my most intense session, right? Because I'm getting better at it. And so I want to push harder. Of course, that's my nature. And so sometimes to my detriment, but in this particular time, it was for a big jump, and my body jumped. It's the first time in my life I've ever lost my voice. Okay? Ever. I lost my voice. The next day, like, I woke up in the morning, I was like, hello? Huh? What the fuck's going on? Right?
Yeah.
And I developed a cough. Now, this cough was the same cough I had when I came back from Djibouti when I was in the military. I coughed for almost 8 months. This exact same cough, which meant I contracted something in Djibouti. Okay. And when I got back to American soil, it activated like nobody's business. And I was hacking for 8 months. I could barely sleep at night because I would cough all night long. So I would get all this sporadic sleep. And so it was like that for a week and 3 days after that session. Okay. And I'm doing all the things because now I know how to take great care of myself. So I'm doing all the things. I'm fasting and going through detox protocols, and I realized this isn't a detox. Like, this wasn't a cold or a flu. This was, I released something that was hidden. And I believe it came out of my spine. Okay. Because we have creatures and things that like to live in our spinal fluid. And I moved it in a way that it hadn't been moved. And it got activated because I'm sweating, I'm putting motion in, I'm putting heat on those areas, and my central nervous system was charged up, right? Because of the stress that I put on my body during that session. And so that next morning I went, and I was sore. I was also sore, right? And I like the soreness that I get when I work with John, because it's not a bad sore. It's just like, oh, you did something. You did something yesterday. And it's typically gone within 24 hours for me. So I'm like, oh man, I'm kind of tight. But that morning I felt lethargic tight, like that fluish kind of feeling. And I went, ew, I got the goo. I don't get the goo. I haven't had the goo in 10 years. Like, what's going on? And so I had to retrace my thoughts about what I did, what happened. And like, well, last week I had ate off plan a little bit because we were in Asheville for a week, with the family. I didn't eat that bad, you know, and I did all my stuff every day. Took all my supplements. I drank good stuff. I even had a like Pyrium shake every morning before we start our day to make sure that I had put something good in before we go marginally cruise along the line of food, for the rest of the day. But I still didn't do anything drastic. Like, I didn't eat anything fried or greasy or none of that, right? So I'm like, about the worst thing I had was a piece of cake. One day I had a piece of cake. And I'm like, nah, it ain't that. Like, I felt great all the way through the weekend. Plus, I came into the weekend, I cleansed, I did an enema on Saturday, I did one on Sunday, and on Sunday I didn't eat anything. right? Like I normally do. I normally don't eat anything on Sundays. So that's kind of like our jam. So I felt good, ready to attack the week. Did my Monday morning session with John, and all hell broke loose over 24 hours. And I went, I activated something at a very deep level. Guys, 7 layers of tissue. Remember that. 7 layers of tissue in the human body. Your body has been spreading things out your entire life to keep you at your most optimal self, no matter how bad you treat yourself, right? All the toxins and the pathogens and the mold and the fungus and the yeast and all, it's just trying to spread it all out. So as you go through different parts of your healing journey, you're going to activate some things. And it may not feel that great. Now, I was sharing with John before we got on the call today that I was going through a little triage over the weekend and even today with a client who's local to me who is having her first healing crisis. It's legit. Like her liver enzymes are all elevated, her white blood cell counts all elevated. Her body is doing massive work. And she's been having a great journey up until this point. She's been with us for almost 90 days, has dropped over 30 pounds of fat in that time. And she just hit a discerning point where she's going to have to buckle down to get better, right? She's got to pay for some things. All of us have to pay for some things when we go through true healing. Nobody gets out of this thing unscathed. Everybody has a healing story. I swear to God, every one of you do, and you know you do if you're actually healing yourself. You didn't just come in here and go, oh, this was all pie in the sky, good stuff, easy peasy. Nah, there's gonna come a time where you're stuck in your own shit for about 3 to 4 days, at least once or twice along the way, and you gotta deal with it. For some people, it's months, depending on what those kind of conditions are. You got bad arthritic conditions and gout and stuff like that. You could be sitting in gout flares for months before your body finally moves all those uric acid crystals out of the body and gets that inflammation out of your joints. But just like I told her today, we all have a price to pay for our sins. And that's literally what it is. So you can pay for it now, live a longer, better life, or you don't pay for it now and you suffer longer and end shorter in your life. So that's the exchange rate for this stuff. So I'm actually very happy that I went through this experience with John because I was able to use my mind, my body, and my spirit to actually connect to everything and truly visualize what my body's doing. So I was never angry with my body. I was thankful. I was grateful for what it's doing to make me better and to make me stronger. And I know I just kicked that thing's ass, whatever it was, I kicked its butt. And my voice is almost 95% back to normal. And it would be all the way back if I wasn't a dad, but I'm a dad. So I have to like talk to my kids every day. And I couldn't just not have sessions for weeks and weeks. So, and I miss you guys. So I look forward to my coaching calls with you. But John, I thank you, man. And I can't wait for our next session. I know I couldn't make it yesterday, but Monday's coming up soon. It'll be here in a hot flash,
There we go.
and we'll be back in action. What are some words of advice that you would give people that may have issues like me?
Well, knee issues, low back issues, it can be anything really in the body. If there's pain in the body, neuropathy is very big. I work with a lot of people who get numbness and tingling, and they get pain from neuropathy. Migraines and headaches are very big with the work I do.
Yeah.
Post-concussion symptoms, very big. But you name it, it can be anything. And what we've seen are some surprising causes and effects with people. We had one client once who he had advanced CCI, cranial cervical instability issues, and these folks are very damaged. We have to be particularly cautious with the work we're doing. But on day 4 of doing the protocols, he contacts me and tells me that when he hit his head 2.5 years prior, he became impotent. He lost all function below the belt. And on
Wow.
day 4 of working on the neck protocols to activate this ligament, he got full function back on day 4.
Holy smokes.
We've got stories galore, man. I mean, a guy whose eye stopped dilating when he was 7 years old, and at 37 years of age, his eye started to open and close again from this work. So we're impacting the nervous system, and we're also impacting the musculoskeletal system, and everything's connected. You can't separate these things, but the advice I would give for anybody is we want to just commit to this concept of getting 1% stronger a day. And it's holistic. It's got to be holistic. Now, the tip of my arrow is movement. I'm a movement geek. I'm all about the movement, and that's why I work with experts like Ken, who handle the other aspects of health. Even though I know what I'm doing in those areas, like I would rather focus on the movement predominantly, but we have to get into this idea that there's so much we can accomplish, and your body is teaching you what to do. The work we're doing is going into what's called the pontomedullary reticular formation, to geek out just a little bit here. So you've got in your brain, at the top of your brain stem, you have the pons, the medulla, and the midbrain. And then at the back of your brain is known as the little brain, is your cerebellum. Each of those 4 combined is known as the pontomedullary reticular formation, but it's AKA your primal brain. So this
Mm.
is where we fight, flight, want food, we want fornication. This is where we're driven, from our primal instincts. The PMRF is also responsible for posture. And that's where the breakdown happens. People start to get into these, not to say you need to become a robot where you have perfectly rigid posture. We don't want that. We want you to have this ability to flow and move with your body in these appropriate manners. But what we're doing with these patterns, and man, I love these patterns, and I know you love the patterns too. And
Oh yeah.
they're unique patterns, but they are communicating directly with your primal brain. And we don't give your primal brain an option not to rewire itself, re-engineer itself. The term we're using now is recode. We're recoding the primal brain with these patterns, because what we need to do is we need to get the subconscious mind to lead the charge. And it's going to involve your conscious mind for sure. You have to be, disciplined to the point where you can do 20 minutes of these exercises a day for at least 30 days. You want to get into a flow with it, but you're going to find that you're striking little poses all day long, and we call those Kaizen poses.
Mm-hmm.
So, these are the poses that we need to be striking, so we continuously get these revisits of how to feel it, from the fourth toe, the big toe, the hip positioning, the rib cage expansion, the shoulder complex position. But you'll find your recall of this stuff becomes like this, and you start catching yourself like, you know, Alan, who we both know, he's like, I just do biotensegrity all day.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's what it is. That's what it is, right? So, and this is where, because I'm all about time efficiency, and I do dedicate time to doing my workouts. But at the same time, um, if I am utilizing this understanding of how to walk, how to sit, how to understand, like when I get in my car, I do a little bit of this to get some decompression to my neck. If I'm sitting on my Swiss ball, I'll make a double fist like this. I can press straight down, and I don't need it, but I can use that to release my upper thoracic from sitting here all day.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you start to learn how to do these little things. I just added on a new client. She owns 2 cafes. She's a caterer. She's been doing, she's been in the kitchen for 30 some years, working her butt off, running these businesses. And there's nothing quite like slightly bending over a counter for 14
All
hours a
day.
day
Yeah.
to throw off those multifidus muscles, and it throws off the wiring in your body. But man, hey, you're awesome, Ken Newbill. It's a treat and a pleasure to be in your world and to be part of this mission of, helping people rediscover what living a healthy life is really all about.
Yeah, man, it's been great. And likewise, man, I'm glad to have you in in the fold here, serving our clients at the highest capacity, man. Everybody loves you, bro. Because they're winning. You
Mm.
really teach people how to win, with this part of their anatomy. And dude, who wants to live in pain? Who wants to be rickety and stiff? And nobody wants that garbage.
Right.
So, I think we just have a good combo. It's like a happy meal up in here, man. Like I'm working on the internal structures and all those things, and you're helping like, okay, well, now that you're not inflamed in that shoulder, why don't we get it aligned right? Why don't
Right.
we, learn how to
Hey,
get out
Ken,
of
Ken
that?
Newbill, real quick.
Yeah.
Dude, I got a 7 o'clock.
Yeah, let's
I
go.
gotta jump, dude. I gotta jump, but dude, you're awesome, man. Hey,
Thank you, John.
send me that link. I'll put it little, whatever, I'll edit it out. And boom, peace, love, I'm a dove. You're
All right,
awesome,
man.
my
Have a good
brother.
night, brother.
We'll see you.